Hi there, and welcome to Ruth Pannell from Isla Law. Great to see you today, Ruth.
Yeah, you too, Lisa. Nice to be here.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us on the Business Spotlight. It's going to be really interesting to hear more about you and your business today, so you can tell us a little bit more about your trials and tribulations of
Yeah,
being in business. So you're the founder of Isla Law, and
yeah,
it'd be great if you can give me and the audience a little bit of a background as to, what got you started in business and how it's been for you.
yeah, sure. So, well, I qualified as a solicitor ages ago now, back in 2008. So I'd started a kind of fairly conventional pathway into law. So was doing my training contract in the city, and then I moved to some sort of regional firms out in Kent where we live now. And I did that for about sort of 10 years. So it was about 2018 when I started up on my own. It was sort of a mixture of things that took me to that point, I think. So at the time I had younger children. They're teenagers now, but partly, it was sort of still pre-COVID, still, as a solicitor, you were expected to be doing your 9:30 to 5:30, and just getting back for those after school clubs and things was really tricky. So a large part of it was flexibility and just having that ability to work the hours I needed to around my children. And yeah, a part of it was also just sort of at the back of my mind, I'd always thought this could be done, in a slightly different way. I could make, if I had more autonomy in the business, I could do things, how I wanted to do them. So a bit of a mixture.
Yeah.
So yeah, we started in 2018, which is a long, I can't even do the maths, like 7 years ago
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, you took the giant leap.
Yeah, and it was quite scary at the time. I was sort of working from my bedroom, just myself in on my own in the bedroom, and doing extra things to supplement my income. So I was doing some locum work for other solicitors, picking up hours to just supplement the income. So it was a bit of a scary leap of faith.
Mhm.
um,
You did
but yeah,
it.
yeah, we did it. And over the last sort of 5-6 years, we've now grown to so there's four of us in the office on a day-to-day, and then my husband is the director in the background as well. So a team of five, and yeah, hopefully growing still. We're in proper offices now and everything. So I've moved
That
out of
must
the bedroom.
yeah, that must have been a great feeling for you when you got your first premises.
Yeah, so that was about 3 years ago. I'd hired my first sort of other solicitor who's still with us, Emily, and we sort of moved into our first office at the same time. So that was a big moment where we felt like we were like a proper business.
Absolutely. You've come
Yeah,
a long way since the days of starting out in your bedroom.
exactly.
You
Yeah.
must be proud. You must be proud because there must have been times when, yeah, it was tough
Yeah,
growing.
there's definitely been some tough moments. Obviously, we had COVID, a couple of years into the business, like lots of other businesses. That was a very tough time. Um, so we were doing lots of things like signing wills on car bonnets and things to be socially distanced, and yeah, all sorts of fun stuff. But
Oh, gosh, that's something that people just don't think about, do they? And
no,
yeah,
no, we had to sort of still carry on. People still wanted all the really wanted even more to get their wills and financial documents in place. uh,
yeah.
and there was a kind of panic sort of feeling that they needed to get it done quickly, so we were still out and about trying to do what we could.
Gosh, I mean, and that's your business in general. You're in a sensitive sort of industry, if you like, aren't you? It's delicate conversations you're having with people. Um,
Yeah,
Obviously
yeah, of course.
specialised in probate and wills and lasting powers of attorney. So, what would you say makes you stand out from your competition there?
So I think will writing especially is an area where it is quite difficult because it's not regulated. Anyone can be a will writer. You don't have to be a solicitor, or even have insurance. So it's, I would say, to,
Mm.
if you're thinking of doing your will, do your research, because you want to make sure you know, that person is qualified and has insurance and knows what they're doing. It's such an important document. So I think Martin Lewis has said that using a solicitor is gold standard. We're also STEP qualified, so that's another organisation called the Society of Trust and Estate Practitioners. So I had to do another 4 years of exams to get that qualification, and you know, it's known in the industry but maybe not so much outside of it. It's just like an extra level of qualification, but sort of beyond all of that, we've really tried to keep the team, you know, really close knit, and we haven't grown very quickly or anything like that. So we do know all of our clients. Our clients get to speak to their individual solicitor or legal advisor. They're not just sort of behind a wall of lots of secretaries. So we really still value having a close relationship with our clients, so they can, you know, come back to us with any concerns they might have, and things like that. We're also, you know, the people in the office, we're all female, so I'm quite proud of that. Having gone, you know, gone through the city and training contracts with lots and lots of male partners, you know, I'm really proud that we're all girls in the office, so that's nice.
Go the girls. Was
Yeah.
that intentional then when you started out? Was that part
No,
of the
it's
plan?
not been intentional. We have had a male, you know, paralegal in the past, but
Yeah.
it's just how it's turned out. But yeah, it's good.
Excellent. So in terms of your journey, a bit like you said earlier, were you following a plan? You know, was it in the plan to have that premises when you did, or to reach the team size at a certain point, or?
I'll be honest, when I first started, I didn't have any sort of plan beyond,
Mm.
I just want to earn like the same sort of income for myself, you know,
Yeah.
on flexible hours. As the business has grown, I have had to get plans. So, for example, to be regulated with the Solicitors Regulation Authority, you do have to produce a business plan. So, even just from a regulatory point of view, you do need to have a plan. So, yeah, nowadays I do have goals that I set every year, in terms of revenue goals, but also goals of, you know, growing the team, and, you know, softer goals like, you know, things that we all want to achieve just in terms of, you know, our personal growth goals. So
Yeah,
qualifications we
important.
all want to get and things like that.
Yeah, I was glad to hear that. It's important for your goals to cross into your personal life as well, isn't it? And so that you are feeling fulfilled and yeah, accomplished and satisfied within the team as well. So
Yeah.
so what does the future look like for Isla Law then, or for you personally in the business?
Yeah, so I think we're still looking to deliver sort of sustainable growth. So again, we're not looking to sort of double our size every year or anything like that. But we we're in fairly new offices. We've been here for about a year, so it's been really good for us in this new community. There's loads of other businesses, so we're just developing those relationships, our networks, and our clients, and hoping, you know, that the work we do generates referrals, and just to grow sustainably, really.
Yeah.
So we're not really looking to expand beyond the kind of areas of law that we do. We are happy being specialist private client solicitors. That's what we'd be called in the industry. But yeah, we want to be sort of the best private client solicitors in this part of Kent, but do it sustainably, so we don't lose that client relationship.
Absolutely, yeah. And I can imagine in your business as well, there's a lot of word of mouth referrals, isn't there, particularly
Absolutely.
with what you do. And it's interesting what you said earlier about what Martin Lewis said, because when people often go down that kind of freebie online route, you know, things don't end up good, do they? And
Yeah, it's
educating people what you can do for them.
yeah, I think that's right. I mean, I think your will is a very important document, and a lot we see the other side as well when we deal with probate matters where things have not been done properly, or the will has been lost, or, you know, something's just gone wrong, and it can cause a lot of headaches. You
Yeah.
know, and, you know, it's a time when families are grieving and it's really stressful, so you just
Yeah.
don't need that. So yeah, our job is to try and stop that happening in the future.
Yeah. I bet you've come across some quite surreal situations over the years, have you? When, you know, things haven't gone too well for people and you wish that you'd been involved sooner, or trying to
Yeah, I
remedy.
think it's just the stress that it causes families at an already very stressful time. You
Yeah,
just don't need to have that.
yeah,
Whether it's trying to look for a will that no one knows where it is, or unpick something that's not
mm,
quite right in the will, and maybe in the worst case scenario, there can be sort of litigation within a family where there's a child who's under 18 involved, and no one would ever have wanted that. It's just a sort of
yeah,
drafting error. So we have seen some horrible situations, but hopefully
yeah.
with a well-drafted will, that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, and I can tell from the vibe that you give as well that the rest of the team will be like yourself and just be that sort of reassuring person at the end of the phone to deal with those sensitive matters. So, what would you say your biggest lesson has been in business then over the years?
I think it's about working with other people. So when I started my business, I'm kind of a person who likes just working on my own. So at school, I was always that person who just wanted to work on my own and not be
Sit
interrupted.
down.
But if you want to have a business that's going to be beyond you and just where you've given yourself a job, you need to have other people involved. So obviously that starts with having a team, and I would say whenever I've hired someone, it's always been the right decision. I've done it too late, so I've always probably waited 6 months too long to hire that person. I've been trying to struggle on my own, so learning to do that has been really beneficial, because you can't run a sustainable business on your own. But also it goes beyond that to having other people, even if it's like an accountant, people you hire on a consultancy basis, coaches. Like, you just don't know everything as the business owner. I've never done a business degree or anything like that. I came as a solicitor, as an employed solicitor. I've never run a business before. So you need to kind of call on expertise from other people and skills that other people have, to kind of help and support you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a journey, isn't it? If you could, go back and tell yourself things that you didn't know back then, things would be quite different. Hindsight's a great thing, isn't it? But I really like what you said there about kind of, leaning on other people when you need to and not being too proud, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it wasn't necessarily being proud. I'm
No,
a control freak. I think you have to let go of some of that control,
I
to
think
grow a
that
business. You can't do it all yourself.
I think they say, don't they, that every business owner, entrepreneur is a bit of a control freak. It's just, it's
Probably.
part of the DNA, I think.
I suspect so.
What advice would you give to somebody just starting out?
Yeah, I would say you definitely have to set some goals. You kind of need to know where you're going. So even if that's more sort of vague. So I started out with things like, I want to take my family on this sort of holiday, and
Mm.
yeah, kind of things like that. So that gives you some goalposts to work with. I think it is important to know your numbers. So I'm quite a numbers-based person. I think you need to work out if you're going to be able to get there. So if, like my children have tried little businesses and things, and it's like, well, if you're going to make your own soaps and each of them takes you 3 hours and it costs you £4, and then you're selling them for £5, you're never going to get to like a
Yeah.
boom. So you have to be realistic. But once you've kind of got to that point and you think it's workable, I think it's just doing like little things every day and keeping on going, especially in those early years.
Yeah.
Um, it's just the small daily repetitive actions, whether it's like putting out social media posts or following up with the people who've inquired with you, just doing those things every single day to get you to your goal. And it kind of all starts from that, really.
Absolutely. Consistency is key, isn't it? Even on those hard days. But it
Yeah.
pays off eventually, doesn't it? Yeah. Look like anything that you're going for. So what would you say kind of inspires you and your team?
Um, I mean, lots other business owners inspire me.
Yeah.
Certainly, when I go to networking events and things, I always love being in a room with people with bigger businesses than me, and even other law firm owners, because I find that inspiring, because that shows you what is possible. So yeah, I would say networking is a really big one.
Yeah,
Big
I
one for
agree.
me.
Yeah, it can be you can take your inspiration from various places, can't you? And different business owners in different kinds of sectors as well. Do you follow anybody? Are there any podcasts or books that you found really inspirational that you would recommend to others?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a fairly classic one. I think Atomic Habits by James Clear is a really good one. That definitely got me through some of my early
Yes.
years, with that whole thing about just taking the action. That's a really good one. If you've not read that, I quite like, so there's a few female authors and podcasters who deal with like money mindset and things that I found really helpful.
Ooh,
Jen Sincero, who's written, actually, I think she's written "You Are a Badass" and "You Are a Badass at Making Money." They're
interesting.
really relatable, really easy to read. I think especially if you've come from like a professional background where you're just drilled into like doing billing a certain amount, having that sort of mindset shift around what's possible, and your relationship with money, that's quite helpful as a business owner.
That's great advice, because it's if only we'd been taught a lot of that when we were younger, it would have
Yeah,
made quite a difference, wouldn't it? And you've mentioned you had children and they've explored some business ideas. The same thing in my household as well, and it was lip balms and
yeah.
So no, you're right to sort of have a different have the right outlook about finances
Yeah,
can be
yeah, I
really
think so. And
helpful. Yeah,
especially for women, I think as well. We need to be having those conversations about money and what it is we need to make and
yeah,
revenue goals and things. That is having a business. We do it to make
absolutely.
money. So,
Yeah,
um, you know, you can use your money for lots of good things. So yeah, I
yeah. Oh no, that's great advice. And so is there anything that you would like to share about Isla Law, about your products, the services that you offer, and more details where people can come and find you, particularly as you've got your premises as well? Anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, so we're based in Kent in Kings Hill, so we are predominantly a local business, but
Yeah.
we do help clients all over England and Wales, especially on the probate side. I have got a free Facebook group, so I can give you the details for that, which is for anyone who's having to go through probate if they're an executor or a family member and just want to get some general information. We kind of answer people's queries that way as well, so that's useful. But yes, we're always very happy to welcome new clients. We've got a mailing list with newsletters as well. If you just want to get some sort of updates from us, you can
Oh,
sign up for
fantastic.
that too.
So what's the website then, Ruth, so that we can share?
So it's islalaw.co.uk.
Fantastic. And we can search out the Facebook group as well with the same name, can we?
Yeah, I can give you the. I can't. Yeah, I can give you the link for that. I think
Yeah.
it's Isla Law, Wills and Probate on the Facebook group.
We'll make sure that
But
we capture that when we share the video.
yeah, perfect.
Oh, excellent. It's been wonderful speaking to you today, Ruth. I really enjoyed
Okay.
hearing about your journey from humble beginnings, starting in the bedroom, to the premises 3 years ago, and the journey, and yeah, all your sort of triumphs throughout, especially through COVID as well. That must have been a really difficult time for you. But
Yeah. Thank you, Lisa.
congratulations.
Thank you. It's been
Congratulations.
lovely to chat with you, Lisa.
And you, thank you for joining the Business Spotlight, and look forward to talking to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.